Welcome to the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. I am your host, David Riddle. My guest today is taking the USPSA world by storm. It's like grabbing a tiger by the tail. He's a fairly new competitor and a fairly new GM, and it's a rapid rise upward with potentially might be a desire to be at the very top. And we're about to find out if I am correct or not. So if you would, join me in welcoming to the show, Mr. Maxwell McNutt.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. If you would, take a second and introduce yourself.
My name is Maxwell McNutt. I am 20 years old, a semi-new USPSA competitor. I shot my first USPSA match in March of 2025, and I'm now a 3-division Grandmaster, CO, LO, and Open, and I just snagged my first Level 2 major match high overall win.
For such a new shooter, that is definitely... My intro was spot on. I mean, you grabbed the tiger by the tail. We'll have to get into every single bit of that. But what I like to do is make your brain sweat a little bit at the beginning and ask you some introductory questions. This actually might apply a little better for you because some of the people I speak with, they haven't been a new, quote-unquote, new shooter in years. So this first question can be difficult for them. This might be a little bit easier for you. Thinking back to March of last year when you first got into this, if we could pull a Neo and plug you in and download a single skill to get you to GM faster, what would that skill have been?
Match mode vision is what I would say. Just shoot for points. Treat a classifier as if it is any other stage. Don't apply any extra anything to it. And I would have made GM 2 matches faster than I did.
Oh, wow. So were you just not having that match visual patience that you needed?
Yes, that is what did it. I made GM in my 8th match and came very close in my 6th.
Okay. All classifiers or?
Yes. It was like in my area, right as I started shooting is the time of the year when everyone's hosting it. Like right now, there's a bunch happening near me right now, and I'm not shooting any of them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, and too, you haven't, there are some people who get it through match performance, but I don't know that you would have been in long enough to shoot enough major matches to get GM that way. That takes a bit.
Not at that point. No, I made GM before my first major match. I think 2 or 3 matches later, I shot my first one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to write that down because we're going to revisit that one. Okay. Number 2. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
You did put me on the spot.
See? Works the brain.
One superpower, what would it be?
Stumped him.
Yeah, you did. You did get me there. I don't want to pick something lame. If my friends watch this, they'll say no matter what I pick is lame, so I'm stuck in a hole anyway. I will say powers like Charles Xavier from X-Men.
So more of a mental telepathy type of a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Now, why would you choose that? How do you think that would be beneficial? And it doesn't have to be shooting. It could be in life.
Oh, that was the reason.
Okay. So how would that help you?
Stage plans. finding the
Okay.
perfect stage plan every single time, no matter what stage I walk onto, and be able to execute it right then and there. I mean, I would be king at IPSC. I could just show up and do it without ever having to walk it once.
I said my two were my one skill would be shooting accurately on the move at any speed, and then two being as fast as the flash. And then I was like, then I'm like, I could beat Christian Seiler hands down, easy, no issue.
Full stage wins
It
at
says,
that.
and I'm saying like, yeah, exactly, every single stage, I would win them all, and then be like, see, he's not as good as we think he is, which is an absolute lie, but. Okay. What is one food you'll never grow tired of?
Oh, pizza.
Okay.
Instant.
You are the second person to say pizza. I just started these just a few months back. So pizza. Interesting. What is it about pizza that you like?
I think it's just everything. I mean, if you hand me a tomato, I ain't going to eat it. But red sauce, cheese, and bread all together, I mean, it's just...
Okay.
It's the best. It's the best.
It's that mix of flavors.
Yes. I had it as my celebratory meal after winning last night.
Okay. So thin crust, thick crust, cauliflower crust, what? Sicilian?
I would say New York style.
Okay.
New York style.
What state do you live in?
South Carolina.
East or west?
East.
Okay. Because there is a place in Tennessee that I swear has the best New York pizza I've ever had in my life. And I've been to a bunch of different states eating pizza, a lot of places.
What's the name? I'm going there later this year. I'll save it.
Well, are you going to be near Knoxville?
I should be for the Tennessee State Championship.
Okay, just northwest of there, about 20 minutes, is Big Ed's Pizza.
Ooh, we have a place where I grew up called Big Ed's, and it was very famous for some big foods. So, oh, it's in Oak Ridge, right where the state championship
Yes.
is.
It is where the state championship is.
I will go ahead and save that, and I will go.
And there is a lot of, now it's not USPSA IPSC style shooting history, but because back in the early days of IPSC and USPSA, nobody really knew about it, and all the services were shooting bullseye competition. There's a lot of bullseye shooting history on the walls at that place.
Ooh.
Yeah, because every year they would probably, well, I'm not going to say probably where the state match will be held, but somewhere near there, if it's not at the same range, at another range, every year they'd have a big match. And then at the end on Sunday, the Army team, the Marine team, they would all go to Big Ed's Pizza, have pizza and beer and put pictures on the walls and all kinds of stuff. So it was a huge gathering.
That's awesome.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
Be sure to add to it. I can't drink yet, but I'll be sure to add to it.
There you go. There's also, it was odd because I didn't remember it, but I took my kids back there. And there's a crap ton of celebrity pictures from like the 80s and 90s on the wall too. I didn't remember any of that. But anyway, my wife from Long Island also feels that's the best New York style pizza she's ever had.
Oh, so it's credible.
It's legit. Yeah. And it's the only thing they sell. Like you're not getting anything else there. You can only get pizza.
All right. All right. You got me excited. I just sent it off to the group chat to the people I'm shooting it with. We'll be sure to go over there and get some good food.
All right. If you could have dinner with one person from any period in history, can't be a family member or anybody like that, who would it be?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Fair enough. What do you think you know what you would ask him? Like, I always said that I would be a little nervous because I wouldn't want him to look at me and go, oh, I can't help you. You're the one guy I can't help.
I would have a couple questions, but I would just want to listen and thank him more than anything. And normally I'm a pretty open guy, but the questions that I have are a little bit more personal, so I won't air those ones out. But I would just want to thank him for. I mean, I credit everything that's happened in the last year and a half to him and his plan.
Okay. That's fair enough. I like that. Have you been to Israel by chance?
I have not. No.
If you ever get a chance, go. I've been to the town of Capernaum. So it's the history over there is amazing. Like, it's overwhelming almost. There's just so much history from that time period.
I love history. I'm a big history buff. That's awesome.
I am too. And when I went there, I was like, whoa, that was pretty wild. That was different. Like, I've been to, Rome, which also has a crap ton of history, but it was still just different in Israel. Okay, last one. If money were no object, what would you be doing right now?
Same thing. Just a lot more of it. I already do a lot, but man, ooh, I would be doing a lot more of it.
Would you be doing more international competition, do you think?
Not yet. No, I don't think so. I think I would just be traveling around the United States, shooting more matches. I wouldn't. It would be all day, every day, every week.
All right. And with that, now we can let your brain rest a little bit, and we can just get a normal conversation. So you mentioned the last year and a half, but did you grow up around guns?
I can't really say yes to the question because they were not taboo in my house, but it was always kind of like, we don't have a need for we don't really want you getting involved with them as far as like the idea of playing with them goes. I always wanted to play airsoft. I was in love with war movies, all that jazz. I mean, my parents wouldn't let me have Nerf guns, and I would turn sailboat toys upside down and pretend they were guns from like a very young age. So you just couldn't stop what was going to happen no matter what.
Your parents are like, we either have a high-level competitor or a serial killer. We don't know which.
Well, now, thankfully, I can answer the question for them.
Yes. Turned out good, see? You say you like war movies. What's your favorite war movie?
Oh, purely just eye candy, I would have to say is Lone Survivor. I'm a sucker for that Mark 12 build. I think that's the name of the gun now that I say it out loud. It is the Mark 12 Mod 1. I absolutely love the look of that gun. That is like a dream rifle build of mine. I haven't really watched too many in recent years. I just stopped watching movies altogether almost. All of it's just right now shooting content on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I actually watched your one of your videos today. So
Nice.
I see you've got a professional-looking microphone and set up there, so interesting. It looks like you do more than just shoot video for YouTube.
I did pro gaming and streaming back in the day, so that's what all this is from.
Oh, okay. All right. What games were you streaming?
Fortnite was the big one. I went pro in that game. Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, Rust, just a multitude of games. Escape from Tarkov.
If you had to rank the number one first-person shooter, what would you call it?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And no questions. Right when I was older. It was older than me, I think the game is, or it's very close to it, but it was one of the first, if not, it was the second video game I ever played, and I've got the fondest memories of gaming on that game.
Interesting. I'm sure I played it. I'll have to go back and look and see which version that was, because there were a bunch. Like when Modern Warfare 2 came out, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then each one is. Then they started getting a little bit more nuanced at times. You're like, yeah, this one's okay. I like this. I don't like that, but still a great platform. So
Yes.
I play Call of Duty Mobile. That's the only game I play now.
My grandfather plays it. He's the one who got me in. My grandfather was a pro gamer. He was one of the first gamers ever, and he got me into gaming, and he now plays COD on his phone because his hands are sadly too shaky to really do much on the PC, but he can still lay it down on the phone.
Okay.
I think he got to like top 100 and ranked at one point, and then he was like, I'm playing too much of this.
Yeah, that can be a problem. So from that background where your parents weren't necessarily against guns, but they weren't for you playing with them or anything, at what point did you decide that I want to somehow, under the age of 21, I want to get into shooting?
So end of 2024, early 2025, I got into, I was in a very not so good place in life. I was living on my own at the time, and some unfortunate events happened in my life that just really dug me deep into a hole. And I was laying in my bed one night, and a gentleman on Twitter by the name of Havoc21 posted a combo video of him at Glock store shooting one of their USPSA matches, to him coming home and dry firing. And I was like, that looks like so much fun. I want to do that. And I started dry firing. I had like a war belt because I think at 16, I bought a T-Rex Arms belt because I was like, I'm going to play airsoft with this. When my parents say yes eventually after I ask them 100,000 times, one of these times they'll say yes. And I had a Glock that my parents bought me for my 18th birthday. It was a Gen 317, and I just started dry firing with it. And I shot my first match, and I was immediately hooked. Right from the get-go, I was like, I need to shoot more. And just north of me, about 4 hours, there's an all-classifier match. And I was like, I need to go shoot this. I'll get a ranking. And, I'm like, maybe I can be B class. And this was right when the rule change happened, so nobody can say that I played the good old boy system to do it and pay $5 and reshoot it. But I shot that match and I made master, my second ever match. And immediately I was like, whoa, there is something here for me. I need to invest in a double alpha belt, a cheap belt, cheap mag holders that I could change the angles at, cheap holster that's better than a level 3 alien gear for competition, and really, really go at this.
But it's comfy.
Yes, that war belt is comfy.
Okay, we've got to unpack that. How do you go from 0 to master in literally 2 matches? How much prep did you do before that second match?
Usually, so during that time I was working 12 hours a day, 5-hour shift morning, 7-hour shift afternoon, with a 2-hour break in between. So I would drive home from work, about 15-minute drive, throw some food down my throat, and dry fire for about an hour, and then go back to work. And on days when I wasn't working, it was probably around 4 hours a day of dry fire. And back to Havoc, he reposted an X account under the name of King Wash. And after seeing my second match making master, he took me under his wing, and he's now my coach. But I just watched what he did for the day. He's posted dry fire videos every single day for like the last, I want to say 500 something days, maybe more on Twitter. And in his posts every day, there's a little tip of something fundamentally with shooting. And I would just read what he said, watched what he did, and copied it every single day over and over again.
You said he was King Wash?
King Wash 1789. Jake DeVita is his name. He's been in the USPSA scene for a very long time. He used to run heavy with the Open Boys back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, I see a video right here of him just May 18th, an hour ago.
Yep.
Dry firing. So did you just basically replicate whatever he was doing, whatever videos he was posting?
Yes. It didn't matter what it was. I was like, this is what I'm setting up for today, and I'm just going to do this over and over and over again.
How many days a week were you working 12 hours a day?
5 hours. 5 days. Yeah.
5? Okay, so on those 5 days, you got 5 hours, and then on the 2 days off, you had 8 hours of dry fire.
Around there.
So you're dry firing like 13 hours a week.
Yes.
Okay. You think, and I assume then that that's what got you to that master class so quickly.
Yes.
Okay. Were you, other than him, were you listening to anybody else on podcasts or anything? No, just
nothing.
that.
Just him. And it stayed that way for quite some time. And even to this day, he's about 99% of all my shooting input. The level of detail that he goes into is absolutely astronomical compared to anything else I've ever seen. He has a spreadsheet with every single data point you could ever have for my matches from 2025 and 2026. Points, like the amount of points. He's gone through every match I've shot and looked at how many rounds each match was, how many points each match was, and went and said, okay, how many alphas did he shoot, how many charlies, all these things. How many points did he get? How many points did he lose? And just has total stats for everything across the whole year. Makeup shots, no shoots, penalties, how much time I lost on makeup shots and mistakes I've made, everything.
Good Lord. I mean, I've got a lot of spreadsheets, and I know that can be quite time consuming. Especially, yes. I mean, like, how is he determining how many makeup shots you had? Because that's not in stats on practice score. You know what I mean?
Watching footage, I send him match footage, and then he will count up targets and figure out how many rounds the stage required. If there's a target that I shoot 5 at randomly, he'll ask me like, hey, in the stage brief, did it say you had to shoot 5 on that clamshell or something? And be like, yes, no, whatever it is, so that he can get the numbers to be accurate. And then I will give him a match debrief usually and explain where I think I messed up, what I noticed, where failure points were, and then he will go through and give me an even longer one where he points out mistakes and things that he sees I'm doing wrong.
What do you do with that information?
I love a tier system. I will find the thing that is repeated the most or the thing that hurt me the most, and I will say, okay, I have tier 1. These are the things or mistakes I'm making that are most common, that are hurting me most at matches. This is going to be the main focus in dry fire and live fire until I notice they improve in matches. And I'll have tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 2 stuff usually is worked on, just not as much. And tier 3 gets touched on, not every day, but here and there. And it'll be in the back burner of my head. And I'll, if I notice a difference, I'm like, great. If I don't notice a difference, I'm like, okay, whatever. It's not really hurting me as much. It's just something I know is going on.
Okay. Are you still working those hours?
Thankfully, no. No, I'm working a lot less. And because of it, dry fire time has gone up. Just normal 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 4, depending on the day.
Okay. So what would you say the ratio is now for dry fire to live fire? Is it 80-20, 70-30, 50-50?
Dry fire always has more because I can't afford to shoot as much as I want to. I shoot 500 rounds a week in practice, and right now I'm averaging 1 match per week. So that's anywhere from 650 to 750 rounds a week. And when I'm at the range, I do a 3-to-1 ratio. For every 1 live fire rep I do, I dry fire it 3 times. At the range, I'm usually dry firing for about 5 hours when I go to the range, and 3 hours is live fire time. And during work days, it's about 2 hours a day, 1.5 to 2 hours. I like to be in at 2 hours, but if I've got ammo to load or something's going on, I got a meal prep, it's usually an 1.5 hours.
So when you go to the range, you're going to the range for an 8-hour period of time.
Yes, and it takes me an hour to get there, so it's a full day endeavor.
It's a 10-hour, ordeal. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Do you live outside of the USPSA world? I feel like everything you do, okay.
No.
That's exactly what I was expecting.
No. I work and I shoot. I tell people, I'm 20. Thank God I don't have a car payment. My truck is paid off in full. I pay my bills. I'm not in any relationships or anything, and that's going to stay that way until I'm making enough money where I can actually afford that. But everything is just shooting. I work and I shoot.
Holy cow. Okay. You are very young too, and so a lot of people are more established in their job and they have time that they can get off to do different things. You're still fairly new to working this job and all of that. Do you have any issues getting off to go and travel and shoot matches?
Thankfully, no. I did last year. It really was a big struggle for me last year. And my workplace kind of cornered me a little bit, and they were like, hey, we agreed to allowing you to do what you've done this year. Next year, we need something more set in stone. What can you give us? And I essentially said, they tried to get me to pick shooting or them, and I made it very clear that it was going to be shooting, and they didn't expect that because at the time they didn't understand really how serious it was for me. And so they thought, it was a shoe in the box. We just corner him and he'll pick us. Did not go their way. So I said, I can be here Sunday through Wednesday. And if I'm not traveling, I'll be here Friday or Saturday. Fridays more often than Saturdays because I'm shooting matches on Saturdays.
Okay. I take it. So there's always that debate. What is practical shooting? Is it a hobby? Is it a sport? I say it depends on the individual. For you, I say it's a sport.
It is. I take this with the utmost seriousness. I treat it like an NFL player or an NBA player treats their sport. I'm working out specifically for it. I'm dieting specifically for it. I've lost over 150 pounds in the past 16 months for this.
Wow, Maxwell, I got to tell you, man, I've talked to a lot of people who are very dedicated. I just had Alex Bakken on. I mean, Maria Gashina is the greatest female shooter of all time, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. I think Justine could surpass her, but she's got some hurdles still to overcome to get there. But, man, that's as dedicated as anybody that I've spoken to on this podcast. So that's very impressive.
I appreciate that. It was a grind. It was a very long grind to get to the weight I am. I was 397 pounds at my heaviest. And kind of after the first, I had lost some weight before the first match. I lost about 30 pounds before the first match in a 3-month span, and then after the first match, I was like, this weight has to go immediately, and I lost 100 pounds in 3 months from March to early July. I lost 100 pounds.
What side effects did you have of that?
My knees felt a lot better. My back felt a lot better. I felt a lot better. No real side effects to just losing weight that fast. I ate 2 pounds of venison a day and nothing else. My protein intake was high enough to where I would keep my muscle mass on, and I would just drop fat like it didn't exist. I was losing 5 to 10 pounds a week, and I looked different week by week.
Yeah, I mean, if you go true carnivore or extreme keto in this case, that's what it does. So now, I have I'm kind of getting off course, but it's also because I'm about to start that diet again tomorrow, literally tomorrow. And I usually start it with a 3-day fast at a minimum, but I guess my question is, did you ever see a doctor, and did you get any lab work before and after?
Lab work pertaining to diet, no. I have some other stuff going on that I had to get lab work done for, but I never saw a doctor about it. The only thing, knowing what I know now, I would have added more fat into my diet because I had given myself, you said side effects, I didn't even think about this. I think it's called rabbit's meat poisoning or rabbit's poisoning, where your protein content is so high and your fat content is so low that your certain stuff happens. And I didn't learn about it until just recently after I lost the bulk of my weight. And I read the list and I was like, that's funny. I've got all of these things.
That's why I was asking. Well, number one, it's a lot of weight. And sometimes when you lose that weight, the fat can hold in toxins and then release those. And then you have side effects from that, or in this case, are super high protein intake, which can also stress your kidneys. Little things like that. That's why I was wondering. And I believe it's supposed to be what? A 1-to-1, 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein.
Somewhere around there. I bumped it up to 150 grams of fat per day minimum. It's called rabbit. I have it. Rabbit starvation. It essentially is just protein poisoning in humans.
Yeah.
Symptoms include nausea, diarrhea, fatigue, low blood pressure, and an insatiable hunger. The only one of those that didn't affect me was low blood sugar.
Okay.
And I just was like, I never noticed it, like really thought about it until my coach was like, hey, he didn't really understand. I had told him what I was doing for food, but it never really clicked for him. Like he was like, oh, there's something, he's eating other things. And then one day he sent me that and he was like, hey, do you have any of these symptoms? And I was like, yeah, I've got all of these. And he was like, are you really just eating 2 pounds of venison a day? And I'm like, yeah, it's about 1,200 calories a day and nothing else. And he wasn't too happy.
Right. So at what point did you modify your diet then?
About 2.5 weeks ago. Just adding in more. Yes, very recently is when this discussion came up. More fat, 150 grams of fat minimum per day, eggs, sausage, ribeye. Oh, don't even get me started on ribeye steak.
Okay.
Yeah, foods like that have been added into the circle, and I'm just now, 2 weeks later, changing it up even more to kind of get my metabolism back to normal. I guess we'll see.
Wait, what do you mean by get your metabolism back to normal? How is it not normal at the moment?
Just with how much weight I have, muscle per se, I want to start working out again and putting on more muscle and eating an absurdly low caloric intake compared to where my base metabolic rate is.
Right.
Just thinking long term, like I want to slow my weight loss down now instead of just being super duper fast with it.
Right.
And prioritizing longevity now. Like the hard work. Well, I can't say the hard work because it always gets harder. Nothing gets easier in life. But as far as the weight loss journey goes, the hardest part has already been done. I've shed an entire person's worth of weight.
Agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. Still no carbs.
Adding those back in. As I get back into the gym and I'm more active throughout the summertime, I work outside and it can get up to 115 degrees on the heat index here, and I need some energy.
How was your blood sugar before you lost the weight?
No, a little bit elevated, but nothing like crazy, and it just slowly kind of got to normal levels, but it wasn't astronomically out of whack. The doctors were very surprised. My thyroid was in very good condition. My blood sugar was really good. And they were like, you're not exhibiting health symptoms of somebody who's 400 pounds. And I was like, yeah, I have no clue. I sit in my chair and I game all day. None of it makes sense.
Now you game out on the range.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Because look, when I watched your video, I didn't know you lost all that weight, okay? When I watched your video and I was watching you moving, especially shooting on the move, you looked very good and very stable and able to move with zero issues. Are you doing any type of workout specifically to aid you in being able to move around a course of fire like that?
I was last year. I went on the starting strength program, I believe, in September of last year. And that had me doing deadlifts and squats primarily. I was squatting 3 times a week and I was adding 15 pounds to my squat per week. So I very quickly went from never touching a squat rack in my life to doing, I think, somewhere in 350 pound range, 360 pound range for 5 reps, 3 sets was where I topped out at before I kind of toned it back down to really focus on losing a chunk of weight again. Those were really the only things that I did as far as, I guess, movement goes, because it's heavily focused on the legs, but nothing specific. No cardio
So
drills.
So like no ladder drills, no shuttle runs, nothing like that.
No, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on incorporating, you said you wanted to get back into the gym more and build more muscle. Is there something in particular you're trying to do specifically for shooting?
Be extremely explosive in the legs, which is where the squats come from. And just be in really good shape. I want my legs to be extremely powerful, able to move on a dime, stop on a dime, and keep me feeling good throughout a stage, no matter what level I'm at. If I've got to duck real low, if I've got to bend over, whatever it is, and keep that momentum for the rest of my life, or at least try to.
How, when you are traveling and you're shooting a match a week, like I know you shot the North Texas, you shot South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So you aren't just shooting local matches. You're doing some traveling and shooting too.
Yes, sir.
So how are you doing what does your diet look like when you're traveling for matches?
While I
Same?
was, well, no, while I was losing weight, we kind of loosened it up a little bit, allowed some carbs in to be energized throughout a match, but keeping caloric intake usually under 2,500 calories was kind of just the goal, keeping protein as a main focus. So if I'm traveling to a match, I'm finding a steakhouse. That's what's going to happen. I'm finding a steakhouse. I'm getting a ribeye, a potato, and some broccoli or something else along those lines. Pre-match, I'm going to Waffle House. I'm getting a steak hash brown bowl with 4 to 8 scrambled eggs on it. I know I'm a psychopath, and I know people are going to hear that and be like, "Oh, I don't care." I love it. Just things like that. Not going to, Sonic and getting a milkshake or whatever. Things like that. That's not happening.
It can be a little tricky when you're traveling. That's why I'm asking. So okay.
Steakhouses and Waffle House. That's all I need.
Yeah, and I mean I love Texas Roadhouse, but I found out that they do a couple of things that I just found out that I don't like.
Ooh.
I think they cook their steaks the best, but what I found out was they will not only do they grill your steak, but then they saute it on a griddle in seed oil, which is a big no-no for me. Seed oils are very, very bad. And two, I found out they put their sugar in their spices on their steak. And I was like, man, come on now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found out recently. So, but I look at it like this. I don't think there's enough spice on the steak that it's going to make a difference. But the seed oil, to me, you can ask them not to put the steak on the griddle, so they avoid the seed oils, which to me is the bigger deal, because that's what kills you. So it's not the red meat. So, so I was just curious. Okay. That's all. Yep. That was just a me thing.
Yep. No, steakhouse and Waffle House.
Oh man, I absolutely love Waffle House. Absolutely love it. So as a matter of fact, my breakfast today was, well, it's a brunch, but it was 2 pieces of ribeye. I won't say it too loud. And that I cut from a rib roast. I buy a whole rib roast and then trim it, slice it, freeze, the whole 9 yards.
Yep. Costco special, baby.
Yeah, exactly. With some eggs and keto bread, which is only like 2 grams of carbs. So
nice.
I'll put you shabby.
I'll put you on game real quickly. Do you know Costco's ground beef that they have?
No.
So Costco sells the ground beef in the same packages that they sell the ribeyes in, the cut steaks. And you can also ask for a 10-pound sleeve if you go up to the glass and knock and ask for it. The beef that is in there is all the trim from the ribeyes, the New York strip, all the steaks that they're cutting. They take the trim and they put it in the grinder and then sell that as the ground beef. So it is the best ground beef out there.
Get the hell out of here.
I promise you can go and ask the butcher yourself. They'll tell you. They don't hide it.
And 10 pounds.
You can buy a whole...
I can buy that...
Whole 10-pound sleeve. It's like $50-something. I bought that a couple times when I was building muscle, focused more on kind of going in the gym last year. That's what I bought, just the big old sleeves. And then I would buy the ribeyes and cut them up myself. Those 2 things is what I did.
Wow. Man, we've got a lot more things in common than we thought. Had no idea. I might end up doing that because I'll just sit down and divvy it all up, and freeze what I'm not using, because we have a chest freezer separate, and then I'll just go in there when I know I need some meat thawed. I pull it out, let it thaw overnight, and ready to go the next day.
There you go.
Are you doing all the nutrition stuff yourself, or are you like what you have Jake coaching you? Do you have a nutritionist?
Jake helps me out, and then another friend. He goes by Ace.
Ventura?
No, great movie series though. Great. I'm not too young to know all about that. Those movies were fantastic.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. One of the funniest scenes in the history of the world.
Oh, dude, he's a gold mine. He's a gold mine. But Ace is a good friend of mine. I just shot Mississippi with him. He's going to be helping me out with some diet and gym stuff as well. Kind of bouncing back and forth between Jake and him. They're fantastic people who, want the best for me, and they're helping me out. I can't appreciate them enough.
Okay. That's awesome. It's a nice little support system you got going on there. All right. With Jake now, initially you were saying that whatever he posted on X, that's what you were doing. Mm-hmm. Now, are you still there, or are you guys creating specific training scenarios or drills specifically for you?
At the moment, he's kind of letting me take the helm of training because I have been doing a good job at figuring out what I need to do to improve where I'm lacking. And if I ask for help, he's an open book. He'll give it to me right away. I'll tell him what I plan on doing, and he'll usually ask what I plan on working on specifically or what my goals are with a range session. And he will go, okay, what you have is great. I would change this, maybe do this. Today, I talked about next week before Ohio State Championship, I'm going to go to the range and have 1,000 rounds. And I was like, I'm going to set up the stage. I'll probably put it around 50 rounds for the stage. And I want to make sure that there's at least 5 different ways I can shoot it so I can run it over and over again, different ways all day, and just push points, push consistency. And he said this quote that was a really, really good, and I do want to read it because I was like, wow, you are absolutely right. He said, I'm struck remembering a quote, complexity is appealing to stupid people. And essentially nailed it down to keep it simple, stupid. Like, what do you want to work on? We don't need to set up this big elaborate thing for you to push consistency. Set up drills that work on simple stuff and be consistent in those. And I was like, you're right. I should have thought of that. I'm stupid. My fault. My bad. And changed up the range plan a little bit to make the time more productive.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. Yeah, 100%. Okay, you're going to the Buckeye Blast?
Yes, sir.
All right. That I probably have. I did my spreadsheet probably 3 weeks ago, so I haven't looked at it since. Because I'm one of those people, like, if a thought comes to me, for example, I had to get up one morning at 1 a.m. to let my dog out. At 2 a.m., I woke up with an idea, and I got up and I worked for 8 hours straight on it. When I have a thought, everything stops, and that's what I focus on. So I had a thought about Buckeye Blast because I'm going to be there recording and doing some stuff.
Oh,
yeah. And one of the things, I'm about to switch screens on us here in a minute. And one of the stages made by Mr. Mark Schulte himself.
We love the stages. Hey, this is the last stage of the match for me.
Is it really?
It is. I am in squad 208 with my coach and some other friends. We're in 208. So we will start on stage 8 and go through 8 through 14. And then on day 2, we will go 1 through 7.
Okay. So tell me. So for the people who were just listening, this stage is 7. Get to the chopper. If you know anything about Cardinal Shooting Center, they have one stage every year that uses the automated targets for bullseye shooting. And Mark Schulte designed a stage for that looks like there's going to be a lot of timing to this stage. How excited or not are you to shoot this stage?
I think that's the one I'm most excited for. I shot Area 5 last year at Cardinal, and that was my first
Okay.
ever major.
Oh,
Yes. And we came up to this bay, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to say 9 targets total, somewhere around there. And it was, you had 7 seconds to shoot all of them, and there's different walls and ways you had to go about shooting it. And you could start left or right side, and you just have to shoot all of them, and it was no penalty mics. So I was talking to my coach about it, and I was like, it's 7 seconds. I don't want to leave anything on the board. And he was like, absolutely not. We're not too focused on hits. We don't want you to be throwing mics, but just go out there and get all the targets. And I was like, okay, cool. And I shot it, and I had like a whole second after I finished where the target just kind of stared at me, and then it went away, and I was like, man, I could have got better points. And then I like kind of got out of that, and I was like, that was so cool. I just, what? It was awesome. I'm very excited for this stage.
and again, for people that are just listening, it says it's 21 rounds, 9 cardboard, 3 steel, Comstock, loaded and holstered. There's a door that activates turning targets, which will face, disappear, face again, and ultimately disappear. Pneumatic turning targets will chain activate bobber and swinger, which both remain visible. Center popper activates drop turner, which disappears. So there is a lot going on this stage. This is going to be very, and actually, when you said Squad 208, I'm like, yep, he's on my list. This stage, I mean, it's going to be very interesting because there are so many different things going on to see how many different ways people try to shoot this thing.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see it. We will be walking stages the day before, and I think my game plan for this stage is I'm going to figure out when Squad 111 shoots it. I'm pretty sure that's Joey Sauerland and Matt Hopkins on there, as well as a friend Zane. Shout out POV, he's the man. He's one of the sponsors for the match. He's in that squad. I'm going to go watch Joey and Matt Hopkins and see how they do it. And kind of get a general idea of what the stage looks like when it's all put together.
And you said that was Squad 111?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's Zabonic, Sauerland, Hopkins. Yeah. That is staff. So you're going to watch the staff shoot it.
Yep. I shoot Friday PM, Saturday AM, fly in Thursday, walk stages after lunch. We get into Ohio pretty early. And we'll go to the range and walk stages all afternoon Thursday, get the stage plans ready to go for all stages, and then kind of relax Friday morning, get to the range about 2 hours before we start shooting, and then get after it.
Okay, are you, what is your method? Your first day there, are you just going to walk stages primarily for 8 through 14, and then when you're done shooting those, walk 1 through 7?
No. Before I leave the
walk them all?
range, before I leave the range Thursday, I will have a detailed stage plan that I will want to shoot for all stages. If I show up and I see somebody, not as I'm on the stage with my squad about to shoot it, but before the match starts, we get there, I see somebody who I know has some good stage plans at other matches. I see them running it differently. I'll talk with them. I will weigh the benefits, the pros and cons of theirs versus mine, and if theirs is better, I will adjust it, do theirs, but when I walk up to the line, I'm not changing my stage plan.
You completely disappeared off my screen for a minute. I'm like, where in the world did it literally, the whole window just disappeared off. I've got 4 screens that I'm looking at, but the one where I see you would just like completely disappeared.
Gone.
And I didn't mean to. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that stage. That's going to be very, very interesting. Yeah, you're on with Billy Barton and the Kehoe brothers and
Yep.
Deshaun Johnson. Yep. Yeah, I've
Yep.
got you guys down. Can't
Deshaun's
hide.
the whole squad is pretty much friends. Maxwell Baker, Josh Munoz, Jake DeVita, that's the coach. Deshaun Johnson's a friend. Billy Barton's a friend. I shot Area 5 with him last year at Cardinal. I have not met the brothers, but I'm excited to. It's going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah. That sounds like a really good squad to shoot with, too.
Yes. Tons of talent.
There's a couple of stragglers in there, like John Vlieger shooting by himself, Tanner Dunges shooting by himself. At least I don't recognize the other names on the squad, I should say.
We tried to get in Vlieger's squad, but unfortunately it filled up in pre-registration because that's apparently how things work.
Now it sounds like I'm gonna switch back to our other screen here. It sounds to me like you're not stopping at Grandmaster. You're not stopping. It sounds to me like your goal is to be a national champion.
That's a stepping stone. I want to be the best. I want to I want to be the best that's ever done it. I would like to go down in history as the best practical competition shooter of all time.
That's a tall order, and I say that because right now I would say on the American side, that's Rob Latham with 27 national titles in USPSA. Obviously, the GOAT, if you're talking world championships, is Eric Gruffel.
But I would say awesome match in 20 years.
He has not. So, and even if he loses tomorrow, I'm still considering him the greatest in IPSC. And you could even say USPSA because he came over here and won some national championships as well.
Yep.
So I don't think he's lost over here either. So
he lost in the Pro-Am, but that's not a USPSA match.
Right. So very, very the best. I'm just going to say that the best. Now, I would say currently our best would be Christian Seiler. So you talk about spreadsheets. I did a spreadsheet and I was trying to compare everybody. So I had to take major scoring and turn it into minor scoring. And he's the only guy who increased his lead when I switched from major to minor because he's so fast and so accurate. There was no degradation really in score for him.
Yep.
So he is the guy that you're going to have to beat.
We've done a lot. I've watched his videos more than I think anybody at this point because there's something new every time I watch it when I really give it my full attention to detail. A great example for you, 2024 Nationals. Over all 18 stages, how many unintended makeup shots do you think he took?
I have no idea.
Wild guess. Nationals match, high round count, 18 stages total, 3 days. Wild guess.
Now, was that the same year he had the optic issue?
At Race Gun Nationals, you're thinking of Carry Optics Nationals at Race Gun.
Okay, so you're talking Race Gun?
Yes.
I'm going to say 8.
6.
I was close, but I knew it was very small.
Yeah. I believe the number was 6, and most of it came from,
good Lord.
I want to say day 3, but it was either day 2 or day 3 is where most of the chunk came from. At World Shoot last year, he had 18 makeup shots, and most of which came from strong hand or weak hand shooting. He had 3 makeup shots on one target when he was shooting stronger weak hand And I know when it comes to him getting closer to the final day, he tends to throw makeup shots on stuff on purpose because he wants a higher percentage of alphas. His job at that point is to hold on to the win. He's not doing anything crazy to gain more points. So we do take that with a grain of salt when we look at those kind of things. But unintended makeup shots at 2024 Nationals, he had 6.
Yeah, that's the guy is super accurate.
Yes.
Alex Bakken and I were talking about that too, where Alex was like, I was the most accurate shooter at the match. Christian was talking about World Shoot. Christian was top 10 and the overall winner of the match.